Guess who's back again. We are back to discuss part 3 of Rowdy's training program. In this episode, we are addressing Rowdy's human reactivity, which is an interesting problem that he has because he grew up going to bars and breweries and used to be just totally fine with people, but he was attacked by a few dogs when he was younger, so that led to him being reactive to other dogs. And then weirdly enough, it kind of bled into him being weird with people as well. And that's important to note for this case, so we will talk about that in a minute. There is a select group of people in him and Kim's life that he is totally fine with, but when it came to meeting new people or them trying to interact with him, pet him, that's where he really struggled. Now, he's not what I would call a super dangerous dog. I mean, he is large, he is more than capable of doing damage, and I'm not saying that in the right scenario that wouldn't happen, but I have a pretty good feeling he's not just going to straight up bite somebody or maul them for trying to pet him or interact with him, like some of the other behavioral cases that I've had in the last couple of years. Dude.
Dibs.
But his strategy, if you will, when he starts to get uncomfortable in those situations is he typically will just bark at that person. Now, coming from a dog his size, it's still very intimidating and makes people really uncomfortable, so we do have to address it. So where did we start with this? Like I mentioned in a previous video, we spent the first few days just evaluating Rowdy and seeing the severity of his problems, also trying to get a sense of really where they were coming from. So, evaluating the human reactivity, we really spent a lot of time just walking around in different parks in Tulsa so that I could kind of gauge what his tolerance level was. And luckily, he wasn't the type of dog that would see a person from 20, 30, 40 yards away and still just lose his mind. He was pretty cool with being out in public, passing people in fairly close proximity, even out of command. It was just when they would come up to him and ask if they could pet him, that's kind of where he drew the line and then would resort to barking in their face. Now, I know what majority of dog trainers would advise in this situation, just tell the people, no, you can't pet my dog. But here's the thing. Kim had been doing that for years, and people are dumb, so they don't listen and they try to pet the dog anyway. And doing that just really wasn't getting her anywhere. And here's the other thing that I want to mention beforehand too. I understand that there are just some dogs on this planet that are never going to be able to safely have up close physical interactions with complete strangers safely. Chip, the border collie that came down from Chicago last fall, is kind of a prime example of that. But the difference between Chip and Rowdy is Chip started showing those signs of aggression at a very early age. So it's most likely a genetic component in there that we can't fully undo. Did I still push him out of his comfort zone and interact with my friends that were strangers to him for the sake of training? Yes, but that doesn't mean that the owners need to go out and do the same thing once he comes home. And they completely agreed with that. They didn't need him to be friends with strangers, just their family members. And now Chip is still thriving, being back home for months because they have a safe way to be able to do that. But back to Rowdy. I said in the beginning of the video that he used to be totally fine with new people. Even as he was maturing, there really wasn't a problem. It was just once those dog attacks happened, that's when there was a noticeable difference in his behavior. So what does that mean then? And why does that give me some sense of hope that he can interact with strangers again? That's because there was at one point in his life where he had like a baseline level of normalcy when it came to social interaction. He has just slipped so far below that level, and he's been there for so long that it's kind of fallen out of his skill set, if you will. He's almost forgotten how to do it, for the lack of a better term, or more likely just kind of doesn't believe that he can do it anymore because it's been so long and it is a stressful experience for him. It does require some mental resilience to be able to overcome that stress. So our goal is to help him climb his way back up as close as possible back to that level of normalcy that he once had. And in case you missed the last video, we spent pretty much the first week just solely focused on getting Rowdy to play because it's very important for cases like this. But because it was still such a fresh thing, I didn't think it was going to be super effective in introducing him to new people quite yet, so we had to come up with a different idea. So this is where things got a little wild, even for me. Kim and I had a lot of long talks while she was here, and one thing that she mentioned that really sparked an interesting idea for me that we could at least play around with was when they would go to Starbucks or any other coffee shop for that matter, and Rowdy would get a pup cup, he would be pumped to go there the next time because he knows he's going to get something. So much so that when her car pulls up to the drive-through window, and that the barista's pretty close to the window and he's leaning across the driver's seat, not only did he not bark at them, but he was actually interacting with them and being very happy to do it. So this gave me an idea. Could we use this pup cup to give him a solid, really good first impression with a new person so that he would eventually start to view them a little differently? So we tried it first with one of my clients whose name is Josh.
Hi, buddy. What you doing? What is that? Oh my goodness. Rowdy.
He's like, I love those.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness. You love those. Good job.
Milo, we'll try with you in a second.
Good job.
Good job,
I'm
bud.
really good at that, actually.
Good. And then even you can kind of like walk around and see if he's like, you know, I'll leave mom. I'll come with you.
Oh, wow. He said that's way more interesting than mom. You just gotta...
Good job, buddy. But then where we can go eventually gradually is this is what I did with Chip and Bodhi. Like not rushing this, but then getting to the point where it's like one little head pat, pup cup. So it's like take something you don't love, the interaction, but it still leads to something that he does love.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you.
Good job, Birdie. Yeah, this is
Good job. Look at him.
I can get really tall, actually.
Good job, bud.
Oh, good job.
Good job. Well, and normally that's kind of something that freaks him out, but I think it's a good thing to use strategically so that way if like he's like normally it leads to a point where he's like gets uncomfortable and we can break that of getting to that line of discomfort and then it's like just kidding, here's the whipped cream.
I saw like the second time I asked for eye contact a little longer in his ear, kind of. So then I just
Yeah, you can see him get uncomfortable a lot of the time.
Good job, bud.
It is funny with the pup cup too, though, because his prerequisite for a lot of his treats is eye contact.
Yeah,
So it's probably good for him to like
yeah,
get used to that with someone that's not me.
yeah, yeah.
sit.
And learn that it's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when people look at you, they're not trying to kill you. They're just looking.
Good
Good
job,
guy.
dude.
People like to look at
As you can see, the interaction went really well. Not once did he blow up at him, and he even tolerated some brief head pets. Also some pretty intense eye contact, which is something that also can kind of set him off. And even though this went really well with our next volunteer, Alex, I wanted to try something a little different. Now, this idea is actually something that I took from Jay Jack. If you don't know who that is, he's a phenomenal trainer and an incredible teacher. I highly recommend checking out his Patreon, which is Next Level Dogs. Also check out the sport that he created, which is called GRC. But we used his faith and handler drill. And if I can find a video or something of him explaining what this is, I will link it down below because he's going to do a much better job of explaining the whole point of this, way better than I can. Essentially what we are doing is having a way for Rowdy to see that mom will step in and handle the moments when he feels uncomfortable so that he doesn't feel the need to do it himself. That's kind of the point that he is at right now, is feeling like, just from past experiences, like, oh, I have to defend myself. And so we want to kind of take him out of the driver's seat for that aspect of things and show him that mom will take care of it, to at least let him know that she is on his side, and we're not just like setting up a bunch of scenarios to provoke things and punish them, but that she has his back as well, so that he starts to make alternative choices instead of barking and lunging at people. And this was the first time I've ever used this idea, but I did see a lot of value in it conceptually before we even started, because it's showing the dog that not only do you have other options besides just fighting or exploding, but it's also giving them a lot more trust in their owner to handle situations that make them uncomfortable. And that is very important when it comes to overcoming these problems, but also making sure that we're not compromising any sort of connection that the human and the dog have. So we did this for quite a while, and there isn't really any huge progress that you'll be able to see from these clips, but there were glimpses where it seemed like something was starting to click for him as far as looking to Kim for guidance. I think we did this over and over for about 30 plus minutes or so. And Jay does admit that this setup can take a really long time to see some major change, but once we started to see little glimpses and fewer / smaller blow-ups, we decided to bring out the pup cup again. And as you can see, things went very smoothly.
That's something I'm kind of proud of him for, starting to like dodge the pet instead of freak out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's always got an out.
Yeah. Because that is, like, pets have been a hard one where, like, I tell people, like, he's usually okay if you go for the ear, but if he even thinks you're going for the top of the head or, like, his eye area, he, like, has had times where he'll freeze and then freak out.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. But to have him, like, no thanks, that's sick.
Yeah.
Most people will see that and stop petting you.
And anytime, well, I know you did there, but anytime you see that, just say good. So that way it's like extra reassurance of like, good choice, man.
Now, fast forward a week later, we met up with Alex again, this time in a more public setting to see if Rowdy remembered him.
Can I pet your dog?
Do you remember him? You do.
Oh, he's so cute. Oh, is that your buddy? Yes.
You're so lanky, man.
Wow. Hi.
Good boy, dude.
Good job. Wow.
Full on recognition.
Yeah.
Good job. Is that your friend?
I had him wearing my bite jacket just in case shit hit the fan, but it was a complete success. This pup cup strategy was definitely a first for me, but it's something I will absolutely keep in mind for dogs in the future to see if it works just as well for them.
He says, I'm really good at that.
That's such a good boy.
You dork.
You're such a sweet boy.
You dork.
Now, here's where things got crazy. We took the pup cup idea and put it on steroids. We went into Shields and we found a few employees that were willing to help us out with Rowdy's training. As a very dog-friendly store, they were all like, hell yeah. So we preloaded about 5 or 6 people with pup cups and said, okay, we don't want to take away too much from what you're supposed to be doing with your job, so just act normal. And when we run into you in the store, just present your pup cup and we will give Rowdy a bit of a sweet surprise.
Oh my gosh.
Good job, buddy. Oh, was it so exciting?
Is that good?
I love that he like almost can't even be unsure. Like he sort of looks unsure, and then he's like, "There's whipped cream in there." You're so funny, dude. Much. Good job, buddy. Let's go, Bubba.
There's another one around, I'll bet.
I'll bet you can find another one, Rowdy. Is there a friend over here? Is there a friend over here? Oh my goodness.
He's like, another one.
He's like, this is the best place.
This is the best day of my life.
Baby.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh, he is so, how old is he?
He's 4. He's 4.
You're so cute.
He's such a good boy, buddy. He's so funny. He's like
He's so cute.
always at a cup.
You are so
Good job. Good job. Is it a nice friend? Good job.
Everything.
Do you want to say hi to these ladies? Yeah. Hey, Zach, do you want to make a friend? What's that? Oh, yeah. Oh, you get extra crazy? Good job.
Good boy,
Good
bud.
job, buddy. Good job.
He came right up to us.
Yeah, we've been to 2 other people so far, so now he's like, strangers, they have stuff for me.
Yeah, a couple times he's seen the red cup and he's like, you want to be my friend?
Have you had him long?
Yeah. Yeah, good job. He's 4 and I've had him since he was like 4.5 months old. Yeah. He's just a baby dog. Oh wow, you're really getting it, buddy. Good job.
This was huge for Rowdy. Honestly, this made the biggest difference for him because after this setup, I don't think he barked at a single person for the rest of the time that he was here. On our days off, or even just between private lessons, Kim and Rowdy would just go hang out somewhere in Tulsa at a park or whatever, and they had a handful of counters with random people that wanted to interact with him, and they all went really, really well. We hung out at a few breweries, and people were saying hi to Rowdy, which he actually seemed to enjoy again. And on the last day, this is what shocked me the most. It was pouring rain outside, so we had to do our last session inside of Home Depot, which essentially was us just walking around aimlessly. But look what happened next.
If there was like a specific situation where he's more weird, do you want to say hi? Get him. Do you want to say hi? If you want to, you can say hi. Oh, good job. Good boy.
He gives nibbles.
Yeah, he gives little love nibbles. Hey, buddy, did you make a new friend? Are you making friends? Good boy.
A total stranger getting down at eye level, which previously was the most triggering thing for him, and he just went up and licked the dude's face. Incredible. Crazy. Just absolutely crazy, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Like I said, for the rest of the time that he was here, humans weren't really a problem anymore. And he's been home for a few months, was doing really, really well, solid, with complete strangers coming into the house up until about a week ago, and it's February 17th. We're noticing a little bit of backsliding, but I've talked to Kim multiple times. We're working through that, building him back up and trying to get back to the level of progress that we were seeing when he was in Tulsa. But I was shocked by how well this really out of the box strategy, something that I never would have even probably thought of on my own if it weren't for these long conversations, but I was very proud with how well it worked for him. But it just goes to show that you can't avoid the dog's problems forever if you want to make actual progress. I mean, you can avoid them, but you're kind of going to be just stuck at this certain level, honestly, because of your own self-limiting beliefs or what you think the dog is capable of. Like I said, I don't expect every dog on this planet to be best friends with other dogs or other people if they've had issues with them in the past. But if you at least try something out of the box, safely of course, and have a plan for if shit hits the fan, or just an option A, B, C, D of what we're going to do in the event that these things happen, you do get to see some big payoffs a lot of the time. Now, we still have the dog reactivity thing that we have to talk about in the future, But as far as his issues with humans go, I couldn't be more proud of him, because the trainers they'd worked with in the past were like, well, you don't let people interact with him, and that's the best that you can do. And I like pushing dogs out of their comfort zone to see really what they can truly be capable of when you just give them a chance. And Rowdy was a difficult dog, a challenging dog, because of the bad training and the emotional damage that he's had from that training. But it just really goes to show, if you try things that are a little bit weird, keeping the dog's emotions in mind, that there still can be a brighter future for you. So hopefully this gives some other people some hope. I'm like, if I can make some progress with a really difficult dog in this regard, it is possible for dogs that have either had no training whatsoever or really ineffective training. I think it'd be especially easy for those dogs because they don't have the emotional damage that this one endured. So that's where he's at with people now. Very, very proud of him. The dog reactivity video is still coming. That was way more challenging than the human issue. I will just tell you that right now. Might take me a minute to get the footage and compile my thoughts on that together, because it was quite the roller coaster. So stay tuned for that one. Not sure when it's coming, but subscribe and you will be notified as soon as it does. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.